M3GAN was definitely a movie that I feel like was inspired by Chucky, you know, Child's Play, as well as Annabelle. And those are both franchises that I've reviewed every single movie of in the past, and one thing that I've said a lot of times is that I don't really care for possessed dolls. I don't get why some people look at some dolls and they're like, ooh, I'm scared of that. Maybe it's possessed. I don't really get it. It might look creepy, but other than that, you're reaching. You know, you're reaching. So it's never really been my forte, but back in 2019, the Child's Play series had that remake where Chucky was not possessed, but was rather an AI, artificial, smart device-like character. That was interesting because I can believe much more so in AI and what that might mean. The problem with that, though, is there's been way too many comparisons between the Child's Play remake and everything that came before it. People are like, it doesn't look like Chucky, it doesn't sound like Chucky, he's not possessed like Chucky, and people just can't get out of that mindset. And because of that, people didn't really care that much for the remake. To them, at best, it was mediocre. But with M3GAN, people can't make comparisons like that because it's not based off of anything, but it does use the same idea as the Child's Play remake did in 2019. It's AI artificial, it's robotic, it's smart device-like, and it's murderous because of human error in the coding that they didn't account for. So let's talk about M3GAN. So what M3GAN is ultimately about is the perfect toy, the toy to end all needs for toys in general, because we're talking about a robot that grows up with the kid and can do things for the kid like educational purposes, like taking over certain chores that the parents would need to do. So M3GAN can do that while the parent does other things that need to happen as well. It might cost $10,000, but it is the future. It's AI, it's robots, it's iRobot, you know what I mean? It's crazy. But obviously there is human error in the coding. They don't account for certain things that the robot might teach itself, and its approach to human pain and death as a general rule. They didn't account for what a robot might think of these things. So M3GAN goes on murderous rampages as expected. But here's the thing about this movie. It's fun. It's definitely not a perfect movie by any means, but one of the main complaints that I had with the Child's Play remake was, even though I love creative liberties and people doing different things, my main complaint was more of the fact that there wasn't much tongue-in-cheek, self-aware humor in that. The Child's Play remake did kind of what the Child's Play series did in the first 1, 2, 3 movies, which was taking itself way too seriously. M3GAN doesn't take itself too seriously. It knows that this is kind of a bonkers idea, and it just kind of runs with it, because this movie is kind of ridiculous at times, but at the same time, it's somewhat believable. I could see them creating toys like this that self-learn, that have AI, artificial intelligence, and because of a human error in the coding, they malfunction, bad things happen, and it's the rise of the machines, the Terminator, you know? And that's the other thing about movies like this. It feels very much like just a basic AI, artificial intelligence is a bad thing. If you try to do it, it'll backfire movie. But honestly, if I had a one-word review for this movie, it would just be fun, because it's not anything that's trying to be anything specifically or trying so hard to be this really good movie. It's just trying to be fun, and it accomplishes that. I thought that the performances were pretty well done. I think the look of M3GAN was really, really good. That's one thing I could never say about the Child's Play remake. The look of Chucky looked like crap, but the look of M3GAN looked fantastic. I actually bought into the idea that it was a robot. I believe what happened with M3GAN was that one actress played the physical M3GAN and moved around sort of like normal, but sort of like a robot, and was wearing probably a robotic mask, while another actress voiced M3GAN, and through the voice had some voice filters to make it sound more like a machine speaking words. And there's just something about the combination of the two that actually felt legitimately like you're watching a robot, a very, very lifelike robot, but a robot nonetheless. The further on in the movie it gets, the more obnoxiously ridiculous it also gets, and I'm all for it because that's kind of why I wanted to see the movie in the first place. I did not go to see the movie to see the story. But I think there is something to be said about the story in terms of a parent's role in a child's life. I won't get too deep into what's going on in this family dynamic in this movie, but basically the mother figure in the film kind of had that role sprung up on her out of nowhere, and she's in a part of her life where she doesn't really want to be a mother, and in a way M3GAN is her escape so that M3GAN can kind of parent this child that she needs to take care of. And it works, but it works a little bit too well to the point where the child isn't listening to this motherly figure anymore, and it gets worse and worse as it goes on. And I think that there's something there and how important it is to bond with your child at certain stages of their life, if that makes sense. It's definitely a psychological thing, and I think that the movie approached that really, really well. But yes, M3GAN is it's a fun movie. It's nothing crazy, it's nothing spectacular, but it is a movie that I wouldn't mind watching again. Out of every single possessed / AI artificial doll movie I've ever seen, this might actually be my favorite. Other than Bride of Chucky, that probably is gonna stay up on #1. That movie is awesome. Everything else though, as far as character-wise, I really like the character of M3GAN. Sue me. Let's take a look at what I scored M3GAN, which was a B letter grade. Final overall score of 79%. 79 out of 100 possible stars. Now take a look at the unbiased and biased scores down below. You will see that my unbiased score is 68% because I don't have a lot of technical things to praise about the film. It is very business as usual as far as filmmaking goes. There's nothing crazy about pretty much anything going on in the movie. It's right down the line, maybe a little bit better because the look of M3GAN was pretty good, but other than that, But I did say that the movie's fun. It is very fun, which is why my bias score is so much higher at 90% because, hey, I think that's the point. I think that this movie was never really intending to be anything more than just fun, and fun it is, which is what 90% signifies. It means I wouldn't mind watching it again. I actually wouldn't mind owning it. I kind of want to recommend it to others and talk about it, but yeah, is it the perfect movie? No! My unbiased score was barely decent because, hey, it looks like a movie. The cinematography is fine, but nothing spectacular. The performances were all fine, and as you would expect, nothing spectacular. The characters were all fine. Nothing memorable other than M3GAN. There's just so much going on in this movie that is just fine. But that's technically speaking because, again, when it comes down to my bias or just how I felt about the movie, I had a lot of fun with it. So there you go, guys. What did you think about M3GAN? Leave your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out.